Welcome back to Kiwi Bred. Time for something a little different now. I had a chance to sit down with New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing CEO Andrew Birch and discuss their role within the industry. So what is your role as CEO of New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing? What do you do?
Well, basically the organisation was set up by the breeders who decided that we needed to generically promote all the positive attributes of the New Zealand industry, separate from what New Zealand Bloodstock do, who's, their specific role is to promote their sales. And obviously we're working quite closely with New Zealand Bloodstock, who are a shareholder in the company. But we're out there telling the message about the New Zealand bred product and the New Zealand success, and that's essentially our role.
How does the organisation work? Is there a board? Who runs everything?
There is a board. There's only a couple of us in the office, so it's only a very small organisation, but there's a board where the major breeders are represented, as are the Studmasters branch, New Zealand Bloodstock and New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing. So initially when the company was set up, there was more of a focus on promoting both New Zealand breds locally and internationally, but with the absence of some of the funding from New Zealand Racing, our focus has really become on the international front.
What are the goals of New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing?
I guess the goals are to get as many people aware of the quality of the New Zealand bred product and what New Zealand has to offer. I mean, we've got outstanding farms here. We breed a really high class horse, and I guess our goal as an organisation is to be out there telling that message and passing on the success and making everyone really aware of the success of the New Zealand bred internationally.
So what sort of things do you do exactly to promote the New Zealand Thoroughbred?
Well, we spend a decent proportion of our budget on both advertising and I guess you could almost call it advertorial. We're out there producing articles that go into international publications that are really highlighting the success of the New Zealand industry. I mean, we've had some outstanding results this year with a couple of horses winning at Royal Ascot, which is, 20 years ago you wouldn't have dreamed of it. But I guess it's just such an international world these days, and unless you go out and put your hand up and tell the world what you're actually up to, no one's going to fight that battle for you.
Any specific initiatives that you run at New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing?
Yeah, we've had great success with some of our trainers tours, so quite regularly we'll be bringing Australian trainers over, and often they are accompanied by their owners, and we'll chaperone them around our major stud farms. And the thing about New Zealand is once people get here and they see the facilities, they see the value for the money and they see the quality of bloodstock, they're always going to come back. So once you get them here, that's the easiest sell. In addition to trainers tours, we also run some educational programs for some of the up-and-coming assistant trainers coming from Hong Kong, with a view to developing long-term relationships, and hopefully those guys will go on to be promoted to senior trainers. We've already seen 3 or 4 of the guys that have graduated from that program go on to be promoted to senior trainers in Hong Kong, and New Zealand is their natural ally because they're comfortable with the people here. They understand the way the industry works and they feel comfortable coming back and purchasing both privately and at public auction.
From your point of view, what are the positive things going on at the moment in New Zealand breeding?
Well, we continue to import some really high quality stallions, and there's been good investment in brood mares. We're starting to see international investment in farms, which is really vital. It's amazing how we've been able to maintain top-end stallions and their progeny obviously attract an international audience. So I think our product's as good as anywhere over the world, and obviously our environment for breeding and raising horses is better than anywhere that I've seen.
Success for New Zealand horses on the track overseas, is that a big part of helping your business grow?
Absolutely. If you didn't have the success, it doesn't really matter what marketing spin you put on it. The performance of our horses internationally has just been outstanding. Obviously we've had a great season in Hong Kong where New Zealand breds won 40% of all races run there. We won more stakes races than any other nation. We continue to perform very well in our major market, which is Australia. We won around 18% of their Group 1 races last season, and we've got a real niche in those classic races, the Derbies and the Oakses, etc. Then to Singapore, where we're winning around 36–37% of all races run there. So as you can see, the performance is very important, and it's vital that we maintain that record.
If you could map out an ideal next 2 or 3 years for New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing, what would it be?
I guess if our horses can continue to perform, then it gives us something to work with for sure. And you know, it's very encouraging, the quality of horses coming through year in, year out. And like I said, so long as the performance is there, it'll make our job a hell of a lot easier.
Big thanks to the New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing team. They do a great job in promoting the New Zealand Thoroughbred. Now it's time for our Dunstan Horse Feeds Pedigree of the Week, and it's a look at the New Zealand Bloodstock Insurance Spring Classic winner.
Shez Sinsational has been far and away the best performer of her family, claiming her 4th Group 1 victory in the New Zealand Bloodstock Insurance Spring Classic at Hawke's Bay. The Ekran mare was Group 1 placed in both the Queensland Oaks and Queensland Derby at 3, and a star performer last season for New Plymouth trainer Alan Sharrock, winning 3 Group 1 races, as well as claiming the Group 2 Hollandale Stakes on the Gold Coast. Shez Sinsational was bred by Mike Taloli's Karaka Group, which had raced her dam Shinko King mare Original Sin, who finished 2nd in the listed Soliloquy Stakes, as well as winning twice. Then Stonybridge stud breeding aficionado Peter Jenkins surmised that Ekra would be a good mating for Original Sin, based on, among other factors, a sex-balanced duplication of Mossborough stallion Bally Moss. That proved to be on the money, with Shez Sinsational maturing into New Zealand's best 4-year-old mare of 2011-2012, claiming the New Zealand Stayer of the Year award with domestic wins in the Group 1 Zabeel Classic at Ellerslie, the Group 1 Darcy Brahma International Stakes at Te Rapa, and the Group 1 Auckland Cup at Ellerslie. Shez Sinsational returned to devastating form this season, taking out the Group 1 NZB Insurance Spring Classic. Shez Sinsational's dam Original Sin was a half-sister to Group 1 Bayer Classic runner-up and listed Wellesley Stakes winner Shinnecock, while her 3rd dam Monday left Group 1 winner Brutus. While unfortunately Original Sin has since died, in Shez Sinsational she has left an influential legacy. This week's Pedigree of the Week was brought to you by Dunstan Horse Feeds.
That's all we've got time for this week. Make sure you join us next week when we're at the iconic Cambridge Stud to check out new stallion Cape Blanco.